Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravidikacharya Satarata Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. ISKCON BBT founder charge as Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravidikacharya Satarata Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Anantikori Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadik Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sri Sri Rukmini Dwakadisha Ki Jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Gaura Premananda Haribo. All glories assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Srimad Bhagavatam 3:2-22. Remembering Lord Krishna. So, okay. Aho, Baki, Yam, Stana, Kala, Kutam, Jigam Sayapayayad Api Asadvi Lebe Gatim Datri Uchitam Tato Nyam Kam Va Dayalum Saranam Vrajema Aho Baki Yam Stanakala Kutam Jigam Sayapayayad Apyasadvi Lebegatim Datri Yuchitam Tatonyam Kamvadayalum Saranam Vrajema Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam Jigam Sayapayayad Apyasadvi Lebegatim Datri Uchitam Tatonyam Kamvadayalum Saranam Vrajema Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam Jigam Sayapayayad Apyasadvi Lebegatim Datri Uchitam Tatonyam Kamvadayalum Saranam Vrajema Datri Uchitam Tatonyam Begatim Datri Uchitam Tatonyam Kamvadayalum Saranam Vrajema Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigam saya payayat apyasadvi lebegatim dantri uchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum saranam vajema. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam So, Mataji's. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigham sayaya payat muchitanti levegatim dante uchitam tatoyam kumbhadayam saranam. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigham saya payayat apyasadvi levegatim datri uchitam tatonyam kamvadalayum saranam vajayam. Aho, alas, Baki, the she-demon Putana, Yam, whom, Stana, of her breast, Kala, deadly, Kutam, poison, Jigamsaya, out of envy, Apayayat, nourished, Api, although, Asadvi, unfaithful, Lebe, achieved, Gatim, destination, Datri Uchitam, just suitable for the nurse, Tataha, beyond whom, Anyam, other, Kam, who else, Fa, certainly, Dayalum, merciful, Sharanam, shelter, Vrajjema, shall I take. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. Purport. Here's an example of the extreme mercy of the Lord even to his enemy. It is said that a nobleman accepts the good qualities of a person of doubtful character, just as one accepts nectar from a stock of poison. In his babyhood, he was administered deadly poison by Putana, a she-demon who tried to kill the wonderful baby. And because she was a demon, it was impossible for her to know that the Supreme Lord, even though playing the part of a baby, was no one less than the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. His value as the Supreme Lord did not diminish upon his becoming a baby to please his devotee Yashoda. The Lord may assume the form of a baby or a shape of other than that of a human being, but it doesn't make the slightest difference. He is always the same Supreme. A living creature, however powerful he may become by dint of severe penance, can never become equal to the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna accepted the motherhood of Putana because she pretended to be an affectionate mother, allowing Krishna to suck her breast. The Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest reward. That is the standard of his character. Therefore, who but the Lord can be the ultimate shelter? Om Jnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalaka Chakshu Amitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai, Putana Witch. It is one of the more transcendental pastimes of the Lord, as we've been reading so many different pastimes here in this particular chapter. But I think especially this the killing of Putana Witch is the most ecstatic, I think. I was talking about it with Tadit yesterday and this morning, that, Putana, Prabhupada described Putana as a witch. She was a Kechari. A Kechari witch is a special kind of witch. She could fly in the sky on a broomstick. And she would fly around Vrindavan, all over, flying in the air. And I was thinking like that, like, wow, what an amazing story. Who could think of a story like this? Who could make up something like this? It's just phenomenal. But she was capable of flying, and she would fly around Vrindavan area. And whenever there was a newborn baby, she would zero in on there, and then she would kill that baby, snag it and kill it and suck its blood. How gross. I mean, how demeaning. I mean, you can't get worse than that, literally. To take a helpless baby, prey on that baby, kill it, and then suck its blood. This was a real Rakshashi, I should say. Very, very demoniac. So, Prabhupada said that even in his time, when Prabhupada was still present on the planet, he wrote in a purport, he said that even today, there are witches of this caliber in India. And they have the ability to get on a broomstick and fly. I thought that was just incredible. But this is the nature of these demoniac individuals. They can develop mystic power. And she had mystic power. She could even actually take another form. We find out that at the end of her life, she was a completely different entity. But she took on a form that was very beautiful to captivate the residents of Vrindavan and anyone else that she could captivate. Although Yasoda wasn't capable to be captivated by her, but by Krishna's Yoga Maya. Krishna specifically put them in Yoga Maya so that they would see her as this particular individual and be fooled by her. And it's described that she was very beautiful, gorgeous, and she had thin waist. It was specific, says in the Bhagavatam, she had a thin waist. And that made her very beautiful. And at the same time, she was actually very cunning in a way that she would come up to people and her eyes would be blinking very nicely, and she would smile very sweetly, and she would entice these individuals. And that way she would snag the child and then run away. I recall that when I was a young boy, because my mother and my father are from Czechoslovakia, and there's a class of people in Czechoslovakia that are very, in the Slovak area, they're like gypsy kind of people. And I recall my mother when I was growing up, she would tell us these stories about these individuals, and she feared them tremendously. Feared them because they were actually very cunning in the same way. They could actually convince people to give them all kinds of things, and then they would steal from them even. So, and probably even kill people, I imagine. Otherwise, I can't imagine why my mother would be so fearful of them. But she was very scared, and whenever we'd have, these kind of moments in the evening or something, and she would tell us a story. And I recall on several occasions her telling us stories about these individuals. And I've never forgotten it. To this day, I still remember. So there are such characters. really demoniac individuals. And they do captivate, individuals. And Putana was so expert and so captivating that the residents of Vrindavan thought her to be the goddess of fortune with a lotus flower in her hand. That's how captivated they were by her. And because of that, she was able to walk right in where Krishna was laying. And she was able to pick up Krishna, and she was able to put her breast in his mouth, or nipple in his Krishna's mouth, and wanted him to suck her milk. And this is pretty incredible. Everybody just kind of stood there dumbfounded, so to speak, so just couldn't believe it. But she could walk right in and do this because of her mystic power. And she smeared poison all over her breast. We do know that. And so Krishna took her nipple, and as he did, he sucked so hard and squeezed so hard her breast that she began screaming and yelling, and her limbs were flailing all over. Her hands were in the air just flaying away, and her legs were all over the place. And she was begging Krishna, stop, stop, stop now. But Krishna was determined to kill this Rakshashi. And so he squeezed her nipple or in her breast very, very strongly. And eventually he just sucked her life air right out of her body. Now, this is very interesting because Krishna, while he was doing that, he actually got on top of Putana. And when he was on top of her, he was kicking her with his little feet. Now, mind you, Krishna was only 6 days old. He might have been 6 or 7 days old. And this also gives us a clear idea of what Prabhupada said in the purport, that the Supreme Lord's power doesn't diminish just because he's in a baby body or he may be in Varaha. The power, the potency of the Lord is still there. It doesn't go away. And no matter how mystical or powerful a living entity may be, it can never match the power of Krishna. So even though she was a Kachari witch and she had mystic power, she could not match Krishna at a baby age of 6 days old. And this is and I thought that was so beautiful, especially when I read that he was kicking her with his little feet. You can imagine Krishna might have been this big, and he had little feet, little lotus feet. And he was kicking her. And as he was kicking her, she was screaming in agony, in pain. And it says that Papa said in the purport that Krishna did this because he was really angry at her, because she was killing all these innocent children. So he was really angry, and he wanted to make it really for sure that you're going to die. So he started kicking her. And I thought, wow, Hari Bol. It was actually very beautiful. So then Krishna showed his most merciful side. And that merciful side was that even though she was who she was, but because she came in a sari, she was very, devotee looking like a Vaishnavi. Came in a sari, motherly, very gentle, very lovingly. And because she came to Krishna with that, even though she wanted to kill Krishna, but because she was like that, he benedicted her to go to Goloka. And in Goloka, she was like a nursemaid, eternally, in the pastimes of Krishna. So beautiful. It was just amazing. But this is the character of Krishna, as Prabhupada describes in the purport, that this is the standard of his character. Therefore, who but the Lord can be the ultimate shelter? And that's the basis, shelter. Because every living entity is searching for shelter. All of us are. Practically every day of our life, we're looking for some kind of shelter. Sometimes we're chanting our japa in the morning, and we're praying to Krishna for shelter. Please, Krishna. Please, Lord Chaitanya. Please, Lord Nrsingadev. Please, Prabhu. We're always begging for this shelter of Krishna. And of course, even devotees' shelter is very important. So, just because this material world is so dangerous, padam padam yad vipadam, it's danger at every step. There's no doubt. Especially when you get a little bit older in age, it's very rare that I don't get up every day. I'm seeing it every day of my life where I don't think, okay, could this be the day? When you're young and you have your body staunch, stout body, you don't think like that. But as you get older, that thought comes into your mind regularly. Well, is today, what's going to happen today? Am I going to be okay today? Yeah. And it makes you become more sincere. It really helps you to really take shelter of Krishna. And this is very important. Shelter is the epitome of what we exist for. Shelter of the lotus feet of the spiritual master. Shelter of Krishna. Shelter from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because this material world is a place of danger. And just for that, we should be encouraged to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Just on that principle itself, we should be encouraged to chant Hare Krishna. You know, we could chant Hare Krishna for our family, for our society, for our neighborhood, and for our country. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted this holy name to be spread in every village, every town, every country, nation of the world. Why? Because if you take shelter of the holy name, one can become freed, liberated from the stress and anxiety of this material world. And that stress and anxiety are real. They're not imaginary. They're real. So we shouldn't think that chanting Hare Krishna is imaginary. It's real. If we sincerely become absorbed in the chanting properly, without any offense, the shelter of Krishna is there with us at every moment. At every moment, Krishna is there. So even though we may not be free from our sinful reactions, we may not be free, but just because a living entity is making an effort to serve Krishna in devotional service, they're automatically freed. Automatically. It's not like you have to go through all kinds of yogic postures or mental gymnastics. It's just that if we just surrender to the process of devotional service in itself, one is automatically freed, finished. So that is the potency of chanting the holy name. And that is the shelter that Krishna actually offers to all of us. And that's the problem in the world today. People are misguided. Nat te vidu shvatakatim hi Vishnum. The real path of liberation is serving Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because we're so fallen, we've forgotten the path. We've gone the wrong way. We're not going the right way. So many people in the material world. So the ignorant people, the ignorant man forgets that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, is Hrishikesh. Hrishikesh is the controller of the senses of the living entity. And Hrishikesh is there in terms of helping us at any moment. It's up to our desire. What do we want? But because we're misusing our senses, we misuse our senses in this world for sense gratification, we become bewildered and we forget our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like Putana, she forgot because she was interested in her senses, drinking the blood of babies just born. And what to speak on another level of this material world? People are so much misusing the senses for sense gratification that they're forgetting even who they are. And they're completely absorbed in their upadi, their material body, thinking who they are. I'm this, I'm that. And you can see the turmoil in America today. Not only America, around the world. But you can just see the upadi, the bodily consciousness of life, so powerful that people, brother against brother now, family against family, just for upadi, for the senses, and for thinking that they're this body. So this is actually going on, and it's very bewildering. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he gives us that understanding. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmi savasha ahankara vimudha kartaham iti manyate. Krishna warns us, he tells us that the spirit soul, which we are, we're the spirit soul. in this particular body. We actually are overcome by the three modes of material nature. And this false ego that's created, we're thinking that we're in control. We really think that we're controlling our destiny, our life, which in reality is being carried out by the material nature. The material nature is beating on us. That's what's beating on us. Because if you actually understand who you are, you'll surrender to Krishna. You'll serve Krishna. You'll want to be with Krishna. There's no problem. But because we're bewildered, we're thinking we're this thing and we're thinking we're that thing. So this upadi, what's that verse? Sarvapadi vinir mukta tat parapena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevana bhakti uchate. It says that if the living entity just simply engages his senses in the service of Krishna, there's two side effects. One effect is that we get rid of designation automatically. And the other is that the senses become purified. Those are two side effects just by wanting to surrender and serve Krishna. And we get the mercy of Krishna. Just the other day, Bhadranath Swami, he sent me a message about the devotees in Turkey. And the devotees in Turkey, it's a Muslim country, 99%. And they're doing everything there. They have a Govindas, they do Harinam, they have yoga studio. Everything it just looked amazing. It was so beautiful. But you can see, because they're not on the bodily platform of life, immediately we can, as a devotee, we can connect them. You may be from US and they may be from Turkey, but immediately there's a connection. It's like, I'm not thinking they're Turkish. I'm thinking that they're actually devotees. So immediately, just by doing that service, you get rid of that designation. And you understand that we're actually devotees, servant of Krishna, spirit, soul. And this is what's important when we read these particular pastimes, how the residents of Vrindavan surrendered, and how by that surrendering process, they were protected constantly by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So again, even if we're not freed from our simple reactions, simply by the process of devotional service, we become freed. You don't have to be some yogi or some big intellectual. You just have to have a sincere desire to serve Krishna. And just by that desire itself, we become freed automatically. It's incredible. Krishna even says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yo mam evam asamudo janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Right? Yes. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting, so no doubt, that particular individual knows everything. He knows everything. Or she knows everything. So that's the quest, to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Person. And this pastime here should help us go along that path a little bit. That Krishna had a baby 6 days old, and what he's able to accomplish. Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I can't imagine somebody made this story up. Someone could think so deeply like this and so detailed about a pastime. It's Krishna. He's actually there. He was there performing this pastime with his devotees. And those devotees took full shelter of him. What to speak of lifting Govardhan Hill, Trinavarta Devam, Bakasura, Agasura. Those are pastimes of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. They were real. And if we just understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting it, then one knows everything. So that's very important instruction in these pastimes of Putana and Trinavarta, Bakasura. But especially Putana was very sweet. I can't get the picture out of my mind of little baby Krishna with his little feet like this big, kicking on her. That was the sweet. To me, that was just absolutely beautiful. And this is Krishna in his full power. doing his service to help the devotees to become closer to him by his amazing characteristics and activities. Okay, so I think we'll stop there. I'm really going a little bit over. I'd like to spend some time here to now talk a little bit about our book distribution. We may go over a few minutes. Is that okay? Is everybody okay with that? It won't be too long. I'll try to go very quickly. But I would just like to read a couple of captions from Srila Prabhupada, things that he wrote in terms of trying to distribute these books and what's so important. So I'm going to read a letter that was dated December the 8th in 1971. Prabhupada said, "Preaching is our real business, preaching and distributing books. If your preaching work is strong, then your management of temple affairs will also become automatically very strong. Just like if the head wills it, the hand will move. Preaching is like the head of our Krishna consciousness society. If the head is removed, the whole body dies. Managing is the hands, which work nicely if the head is healthy. If the hands are removed, the body will not die, but it will be crippled. So preaching is more important than management, but both must be there if the whole body is to operate nicely." Hari Bol. This is Srila Prabhupada. He's giving us a synopsis of how we should guide our life and move forward. Okay, another little excerpt. This is from a lecture January 5th, 1976. "Our first business is this book distribution. There's no need of any other business. If this book distribution is managed properly, pushed on with great enthusiasm and determination, and at the same time, if our men keep spiritually strong, then the whole world will become Krishna conscious." Yes, Srila Prabhupada. Maybe I'll read one more. Yeah, I'll read just one last one. "Regarding your question, actually it is a fact that ultimately everyone should preach and distribute books if they want to please me in the best way. Book distribution must be given stress always. If you do this sincerely, it is a fact that Krishna will supply everything else required. I blindly follow my Guru Maharaj. I do not know what is the result, so I'm stressing on this point of book distribution. He told me this personally. Book distribution is Bhagavat Marg, and temple worship is Pancharatriki Vidhi. Both are important for cultivating Vaishnavism, but comparatively speaking, Bhagavat Marg is more important than Pancharatriki Vidhi. As far as possible, both should go on in parallel lines, but still Bhagavat Marg is more important than the other. So you are all intelligent boys, so you should judge the desire of my Guru Maharaj and help me in that way." Not to, belittle Pancharatriki. It's very important. You can see here, without Rukmini, Dwakadish, and Gaunitai, and Jagannath Baladev, Subhadra, what would we do? When the pandemic was and we couldn't come over here, who was ecstatic? No one, I wasn't ecstatic that you couldn't come over to the temple and see Krishna. In fact, it was getting very challenging. So this has to be here. It's part of the equation. But doesn't mean that we should give up the book distribution. The book distribution should always be pressed. Prabhupada made comments where if a temple does book distribution, everything else will go on nicely. I think one of the reasons it goes on so nicely here in New Dwarka is we have a dedicated book distributors. And look at all the opulence that Krishna gives us. We can put gold leafing on Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa-san. That's opulence. You don't do that normally. Or you can see the altar and look at the beautiful dresses that Rukmini Dwakadish get and the Didis get. It's phenomenal. And the pujaris are working so nicely. Every day I see Rukmini Dwakadish, I'm just flabbergasted how beautiful they really are. And the pujaris are so expert, they bring out that beauty. The way they dress the deities, the way they make the deity cloth. That's devotion. That devotion is actually very helpful in the process of our devotional service. And we can come here and we get relief. I know that during japa time, sometimes my mind takes me away and I think about all kinds of stuff. But finally, when I come in front of the deities for Mangalarti, I can exhale. And I see the deities and think, oh my God, this is really what this is all about. It's about Krishna and how beautiful he is and serving him. So our pujaris are essential. This is essential activity here in order for us to go on and be satisfied and happy in our service, in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so I'm going to read the results now. Maybe I'd like to ask Brigapati, you can say a few words. What's that? Sorry. All right, we did have scores for the December marathon. When you hear them, you're just going to, I don't know, you'll be completely ecstatic, as I was myself. So I'll just read the December marathon scores. We didn't have as many devotees as normal. In the previous years, we'd have something like 70 or 80 names here. But unfortunately today, we only have like 13 that really participated in the Christmas marathon, Prabhupada marathon. So I'll just name those names and it will call out at least the top 10 or something like that. We had Brigupati Prabhu, Devavrata Prabhu, Dear Lalita Prabhu, Sachidula Prabhu, Sachitanoi Prabhu, Gauranga Prema Prabhu, Prem Sankirtan Prabhu, Ananda Kirtan Prabhu, Sri Madhava Mahotsava Prabhu, Dharmaraj, Shama Devidasi, Shamurari Prabhu, and Tadit Dasi. So they were able to distribute books, and the main distributors, I'll just take at least the first 9 like that. So Sri Madhava Mahotsava, he did 750 magazines and 133 Lakshmi points. Ananda Kirtan Prabhu did 316 small, 35 medium, 231 big, 71 maha big, and 1,193 Lakshmi points. Prem Sankirtan, 10 magazines, 456 small, 394 medium, 368 big, 176 maha big, and 2,500 Lakshmi points. Gauranga Premadas, 519 small, 682 medium, 208 big, 176 maha big, 2,600 Lakshmi points. Sachitanoi Prabhu, 207 small, 539 medium, 235 big, 423 maha big, and 3,000 Lakshmi points. Sachidulal Prabhu, 120 medium, 2,435 maha big, 5,264 Lakshmi points. Dear Lalita Prabhu did 348 small, 1,106 medium, 461 big, 572 maha big, 2 sets of Srimad Bhagavatams, 6,100 Lakshmi points. And Devavrata Prabhu, 323 small, 247 medium, 1,289 big, 1,032 maha big, 15 sets of Srimad Bhagavatams, and 7,800 Lakshmi points. Okay, hold on to your seats. Brigupati Prabhu, 30 small, 716 medium, 32 big, 5,026 maha big. That was about 10,500 book points himself, and 34,800 Lakshmi points. Haribo! Wow, that was phenomenal. Incredible. So that comes to about approximately 20,500 book points, and collection was 63,420 Lakshmi points. Yeah, that was a huge, huge month. Amalabhata Swami? He didn't put your name down. Okay, so Jai, thank you, Maharaj. Hari Bol. Okay, so Yeah. For the year, we had about 31 devotees that participated. Just for a time factor, we'll just kind of do the top 10 or so. Oh, maybe a little bit more than that. Okay, we'll do the 15. All right, so we had Sri Madhava Mahotsava. He did about 8,000 magazines, 2,700 small, 52 medium, and 1,037 Lakshmi points. The Sandithi's book table did about 21 Maha big and 1,700 Lakshmi points. Brajapati, 220 small, 120 medium, 320 Maha big, 2,000 Lakshmi points. Radharani Dasi, 783 small, 174 medium, 150 big, and 2,050 Lakshmi points. Ayatota Prabhu, 453 Maha big, 23 sets of Bhagavatams, and 2,826 Lakshmi points. Somehow my name got there, but Sachidullah Prabhu, 3,043 small, 800 medium, 72 big, 4,440 Maha big, and 8,131 Lakshmi points. In the 8th spot, this is where you are, Maharaj, Amalabhata Swami, 920 big, and 13,740 Lakshmi points. Jai. Prem Sankirtan, 3,031 magazines, 10,300 small, 8,000 medium, 6,500 big, 6,000 Maha big, and 33 sets, and 19,700 Lakshmi points. Gauranga Premadas, 4,900 small, 3,300 medium, 3,300 big, 1,922 Maha big, and 23,500 Lakshmi points. Sachitanoi Prabhu, 3,781 magazines, 6,800 small, 10,000 medium, 10,000 big, 1,700 Maha big, 25,618 Lakshmi points. Ananda Kirtan Prabhu, 7,900 small, 1,049 medium, 7,200 big, 4,440 Maha big, 33,450 Lakshmi points. And these are the top 3. Devavrata Prabhu did 517 small, 327 medium, 5,226 big, 7,188 Maha big, 20 sets of Bhagavatams, and 46,000 Lakshmi points. And dear Lalita, 7,000 small, 10,600 medium, 7,000 big, 6,200 Maha big, 27 sets of Bhagavatams, 61,127 Lakshmi points. And in first place is Brigupati Prabhu. Haribo! 70 years old. Brigupati, 3,914 magazines. We're making a point here. Magazines, 3,914. Small, 9,900. Medium, 11,452. Big, 1,197. Maha big, 18,194. 2 sets of Bhagavatams, and 83,013 Lakshmi points. That's phenomenal. Who's the name? Brigupati. Yes. Yes. He was our big push, our savior for our book distribution in New Dwarkadam for the year. Okay, quickly I'll go through a couple of other things. These are the results for 2021 for the temple. in our Sankirtan, in 22, we collected 282,500. In 21, it was 403,081 Lakshmi points. That was a 43% increase in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, really, it's phenomenal that these kind of scores are going on. Then we had some input from the buffet and the gift shop. They gave profits of the temple of the gift shop 33,000 and the buffet gave 10 grand. That was very nice. Membership, 12,800 in 2022 and 24,300 in 21. That was like a 90% increase. Bhagavad Gita Museum, 6,170 Lakshmi points in 2020 and 21,900 Lakshmi points. Yeah, that's a 254% increase. And to the BBT, also I'd like to just say the ISKCON property division, a lot of you don't know, but the property division does a lot to help the temple in its overhead. And property division gave 138,500 Lakshmi points to the temple this year. Just to the temple. So, Jai, Nikatma, Haribol. And then BBT. In 2020, we gave 255,000 to the BBT. And in 21, the temple gave 405,713 Lakshmi points to Srila Prabhupada's BBT. Jai, big. Books distributed, 24,900 magazines, 84,400 small books, 52,700 medium. Big books, 53,100. Mahabig, 64,370. And Bhagavatam sets, 177 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. Total literatures was 2,000. I don't know, I don't see it. Yeah, he didn't put him down here. So, yes, please, you should know that. So literature is distributed, 279,743, and book points, 237,750, as compared to 2020, it was only 204,765. Big increase. So we'd like to thank our book distributors, our Sankirtan devotees, our pujaris, the gift shop, the buffet, property division, and all of you that are helping us distribute these books. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
And Svavasa Prabhu, I, on behalf of the temple, would like to thank you. Because behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, we all know what you're doing. And still, you make time for everything. And because of you leading the charge, this is why we're so successful. So we want to thank you very much for your efforts. You're welcome, Prabhu. Jai, Hare Krishna.
Not me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead and Srila Prabhupada